Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's Doc, and today we have a few things on the agenda. First of all, I'm using a new mic which I have bought for my computer a while back, but I don't like using this mic because I just like the sound of my other microphone better, which is just my integrated microphone of the laptop that I use for my studies. But today I just have to use this one because my laptop is not charged and it would take about like 2 hours with my current internet connection to transfer the files and upload this on time. Tomorrow we will have Prehistoric Kingdom. I've been following that game for so long. Since Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, that is the one game for which I've been following so closely with its development. It has changed so much. It is looking amazing, and I'm so happy I'll be able to get my hands on it. As far as I know, my specs are good enough to play that game. Now, the reason why this channel has no Jurassic World Evolution 2 content is because I'm hard banned from that game, unfortunately. Frontier, when they designed that game, they designed it in a way that you can't even reach the game if you don't have a graphics card that is over 2 GB. I don't have that, and I do not have the money at the moment to invest in another graphics card because I will need some money when I start my studies next year again. And yeah, that's one thing I want to address as well. My studies and my life have been so, clustered lately with this channel. I haven't really had a balance, and that's why I left, and now I'm back. And today we're building the elephant enclosure. That is kind of one of the biggest enclosures in the game, and the inspiration is kind of like a tropical Southeast Asian retreat. I wanted the elephants to be in like a really nice place. This is something I built for elephants way before. This is a very nice home for them. I will put this in the workshop. If you guys are interested, you can just plop it down. I mean, it does make some little terraforming things because those, the haystacks that I have there. But honestly, it has both an indoor viewing and an outdoor viewing area. It's really nicely, the foliage is really nice. This was originally for one of my zoos that had some African elephants, and they needed a house, and I needed to make it big and nice looking with multiple viewing areas. And my inspiration was the zoo in Munich, actually. That one has the Munich Zoo, what is it called? Hellebrunn Zoo. I went there and they have something, at least the viewing gallery from the inside where there's like water and stuff. They have something similar to that, very loose. I mean, my inspirations are not always replicas. They are usually very loose inspiration material. And here I'm just adding the pool because if you know me, I'm gonna go the easy route when we're making pools. I made a tutorial on this even. I'll just lower it down and elephants can use it. They do go down here, they can take a shower. I will be putting a shower here later, and I put the waterfall shower. It looks just amazing. It looks gorgeous. Here I'm placing some more scenery pieces. This is going to be the side that the guests won't go to. I mean, it's just a mud wall that is just separating one level with the other. And I love these upside down tree trunks as mud walls. If you have been on my channel for a while, we use them a lot for Pineland Zoo. Now here I'm just adding the shower, which I have made a little more custom. I added some of the Planet Zoo beam pieces. They're just typical beam pieces, no color. They're not custom colored. I just think they look much nicer this way than if they are just this, rectangular frame. Here I'm adding some more parts that are supposed to be realistic. If you ask me why, I do not want the elephants to have the chance of being, toppling over and falling down. So I raised those a bit higher than the usual ground. Here I'm figuring out the interior. If you do want this, and I put it in the workshop, use the grid as much as you can, except when you're making the inside of this, you won't be able to fill it in all the way with paths. That is because, as I said to you before, usually I build around the path. I don't build paths before I build the building. The paths usually come first because that will make your job easier. This time it wasn't that way because I'm using blueprints. Now here I'm just editing out this area because in the original elephant home that I have for the African elephants, there's 2 sections, one for the male, one for the female. Here I don't have that for the Indian elephants, and I have to cover that big hole on the wall. And there are a few things that are going to be addressed with this habitat later on, because when I play tested it, some things did not exactly work, like some of the doors were too small or the entryways, but those are very minor fixes that when you do get Pineland Zoo on your hands, you're going to see those tiny bit of changes. And Pineland Zoo has also Easter eggs. Now, I made a website for the zoo, but until a tour is out, a complete tour is out, which the zoo, at this point, it is completely done. That's why when Prehistoric Kingdom comes out, we're going to be focusing a little bit on Prehistoric Kingdom speed builds, because I finished a very large zoo in a relatively short period of time. I mean, Pineland Zoo has been in development for over a month or two now. I don't exactly remember the timeline anymore, but it has been in development for a while. And that is why I have to also tell you that I need a little bit time away from building new things, but Pineland Zoo speed build material will still come out, because as you guys know, we're still trying to catch up with that material. I still have the hyena habitat to release. I still have the tiger that comes right after this. I still have the sun bear and the binturong habitat speed build that is coming. And after that, I still have the desert habitats and the alligators and the buffalo and the bears. There's just a lot that is coming. Pineland Zoo at the moment, as at its finished state, it has over 58 species of animals, and it's completely playable as far as I know, and it is tourable, playable. It has a lot of Easter eggs from some of my favorite artists, like musical artists, especially artists who I know have made good work in conservation, whether that was funding or donations. And on top of it, there are a lot of Disney references, as well as Planet Zoo community references from some friends that I have in the community that I really appreciate. And if I took inspiration from them for some, things in habitats or a restaurant or whatever, I did name some things after them. But you'll just see that when you explore. I mean, there's, I think, 15 or even more Easter eggs at Pineland Zoo. And once I make the file public and once you have access to it, I'm sure that you're going to find the Easter eggs. And when you find one, please come down here to the comments and let me know what you think. And I will be releasing it maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. My original plan is that I will be able to record a tour by the time, I release it. That's the plan. But at the same time, with my specs, I can't really run the game. And neither can I. I mean, I can run it. It just looks really ugly because I have to run it in the lowest settings, and that's not really good for a tour video. I'm hoping at the moment that one of my favorite creators, I'm not going to mention her name so that no real pressure goes to her this time, because not that I think any pressure will go to her, because she's gonna move at her own pace anyway, but I really love this one creator, and if she tours it, then you guys can really see it in its full glory. Or otherwise, I'm just gonna ask a friend to tour it and then send me the video file, and then we can tour it together. Now here I'm just adding some elephant protection for those nice trees, because if you guys know anything about real life zoo elephants, you won't see much trees in their habitats. The reason for that is not because they want to be cruel to the animals, it's because elephants knock everything over and eat trees and just destroy them completely. That is a big problem with a zoo in Turkey that I know of. They keep replanting trees in the elephant enclosure when all the elephants do is eat the trees or the bushes, because they will just knock those things over essentially, and that's why I'm putting protections around them. That's not always super realistic, because they could still eat those trees through that. But here at Pineland Zoo Builds, we're not just focusing on the real life realism, but we're also focusing on Planet Zoo realism. And happily for Planet Zoo, they don't actually knock down trees and eat them, which works for us. Here I'm also building at the same time the groundwork and the foundation of the entire Indochina area. Now, you've seen the Indochina before, because when we had the red-crowned crane exhibit for the Pineland Zoo, it falls right behind this elephant enclosure, but that came out first because we wanted to, of course, play with the new wetlands pack animals. But by that time, I was finished with Indochina. That's what I'm going to be calling it, because the entire Asian, area is inspired by animals that are in, Indonesia, India, China. I know Indochina doesn't exactly stand for it. India, might be standing just for Indonesia. I have to check that, officially speaking, but unofficially, and for Pineland Zoo matters, which is completely fictional in a game, it's representing the animals in India, Indonesia, China, even Japan to an extent, because with the red-crowned crane exhibit, as you know, we have a lot of Japanese art references all around it. And here I'm just changing the foliage because, as I said, this elephant house was originally for African elephants, so I'm just modifying a few things to make it more for Indian elephants. It's just a bit of a theming. One thing that I will give you advice on is, and if you, not that you asked for advice, but I'm just gonna give it anyway with these types of builds that are really large, always just go as minimalistic as you can go with them. I mean, go with a theme, that's no problem, but go minimalistic to the point where you can change things around to make it fit another animal. Like, let's say you're doing a house for bears. Because we have so many bears in the game, if you have one shelter that is reusable multiple times by just changing up a few things so it doesn't look the same each time you use like a grizzly bear or a polar bear, then you could really have an easy time with some of your builds. Here I'm just adding some bins. I will be erasing the bins later because I turned off guest litter, if I remember correctly. And here I'm just going to be adding some little village shops and the square for the entire area. Now this area is very multi-level, and you're going to see me making the groundwork for it because we're building it around the elephants, kind of. I mean, not exactly around them, but the main center focus of this entire area is the elephants, and they have multiple viewpoints. They're at the end when Pineland Zoo is completely finished, and you'll see this in the save game file. The zoo has, I think, for the elephants, one at top. So north of the elephant enclosure, when you enter the Indochina area, there is one elevated viewing area, then there's one lower to the ground, lower to the water, where the elephants, shower and just get closer to the guests. And there's one more which sees both the elephants and the tigers. Here I'm just making the connection because the entire area that we have here, it falls at the south side of the zoo. I did make a zoo map, which I will reveal once I upload the entire zoo onto the workshop with the pictures and everything. You'll see it there, the map, and then it can be guidance to you because I do have some signs in the zoo to know where you should go. But anyway, guys, this was the elephant habitat. I hope you guys liked the cinematics, and let me know what you think about Pineland Zoo so far. Like, are you excited about this project? What animal do you want to see next? I can either upload the tiger or the binturong. So let me know in the comments below, and we could maybe change a little bit of the schedule. Well, bye for now.